Let's look into the fourth saying or fourth cry of Jesus. You'll find in Matthew 27:46, or you will find in Mark 34, my God, why have you forsaken me? My God, how you have forsaken me. Let me read just Matthew 27, 45 to 49. Now from the 6th hour until the 9th hour there was darkness all over the land. And about the 9th hour Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is, my God, why you forsaken me? Some of those who stood there, when they heard that, said, this man is calling to Elijah. Immediately one of them ran and took a sponge, filled it with sour wine, and put it on a reed, and offered it to him to drink. The rest said, let him alone. Let us see if Elijah will come to save him. Now, the same saying you will find also in Psalm 22, 2nd verse. My God, why you have forsaken me? Now it is very interesting. The phrase, my God, has been used nearly 101 times in New Testament. And by Jesus himself, in all four Gospels, if you combine totally how many times the my Father, that word has been used 101 times in New Testament. My Father. And Jesus was repeatedly referring God as my Father. Out of 101 times my Father word in New Testament, it has been used 87 times. My Father. That word has been used 87 times in four Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So what it says? Jesus was addressing God all the time as my Father. Jesus was addressing God all the time as Jesus was addressing God as my Father all the time. But Jesus used only one time, and that is on the cross, my God. He addressed God as God only one time, and that was on the cross. So why Jesus changed calling God from my Father to my God? What happened? Why Jesus made that shift? We know what happened on the cross. There was a divine transaction is taking place on the cross. Jesus, who has committed no sin, there was no sin in him, but he died as a sinner. How he can die as a sinner? Because there was a divine exchange on the cross. It is just like God was taking away all of my sin and your sin and was putting on Jesus. Now, Jesus, not by act of sin, but by putting on our sin on himself, become a sinner. And God was pouring out his judgment, his anger, his punishment of sin on a Jesus. And God turned his face. God could not see the sinfulness of man. He turned his face. And now Jesus, in his agony, cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me? He is feeling this brokenness. He's feeling the wrath of God. He's seeing that God has turned his face away so that you and I can call God Father. While dying on the cross, Jesus cried out, my God, so that you and I can call God my Father. You remember when his disciple came and asked Jesus that how we should pray. And Jesus said that pray like this. He could have said, my Father. Jesus could have said that my God, which is true, creator of universe, which is true, Almighty God, which is true. But out of all these titles, Jesus said, address God as my Father. So when Jesus said that, my God, why you have forsaken me? We got to remember that was my and your place. But he took our place, bore all the judgment, bore all the punishment upon him, so that you and I can call God my Father. Jesus took our sin upon himself and became sinner without committing any sin. In the same way, without doing any righteous act, we can put on Jesus' righteousness and can be set right in relationship with the God, our Father.